all human beings have got imagination and creativity. And especially when you're young, you've got endless creativity and an endless imagination. But at some point, the adult world usually says you've got to stop doing that now. You've got to put away your imaginary friends. You've got to stop creating these other worlds in your head and maybe on paper. And you've got to grow up. And writers say, no, no thanks. I'm going to be a kid the rest of my life. I'm going to keep playing with my imaginary friends. And I'm going to keep creating these other worlds, these other universes where I can control it. And it's great fun, as well as being therapeutic. As well as, you know, if I'm walking here today and somebody nearly runs me over in a car, I just go home and kill them. I do it on paper. I do it on paper. I'll write a scene in which that person will be right. They drive their car into a wall or something, and that makes me feel a lot better. And I don't get to go to prison. So it's a lovely thing to do. But when I was young, when I was a wee kid, I loved stories. I loved using my imagination. And I would try and make up as many stories as I could. Then I got interested in pop music and thought I was going to be a pop star. So I couldn't play an instrument, but I invented a band, and I was the lead singer in that band. And I would do a top 10 every week. So I had to have 9 other bands, and I would take them on tour, and I would design their album sleeves, and I would write all their lyrics. And then when I was 17, there was a poetry competition announced at my school in Fife. I grew up in a tiny wee village in Fife, a coal mining village, and you know, it was fairly bland, quite a boring place, a very safe place, but of course in my imagination I could do anything I wanted with it. I lived in the most exciting place in the world, the most exciting place in the universe, because the version that I came up with in my head was that other exciting place. And at school when I was 17, not 14, you're way ahead of me, but when I was 17 I went in for a poetry competition and won second prize. And it was a poem about an auntie of mine. She didn't like it. But anyway, it was a poem about an auntie of mine. And it won second prize. And so I kept writing poems for a few years. And then when I came to Edinburgh to go to Edinburgh University to study English, there was a short story competition announced in the Scotsman newspaper. And I thought, well, I can write a short story. I can write anything. I'll just use my imagination. And the story got second prize again. I thought, well, I'm doing something right. So the following year I went in for a competition run by Radio 4, the local radio station. And that won first prize. So I just kept writing. I kept refusing to grow up. And I hope you will refuse to grow up and keep writing and keep using your experiences on the pieces of poetry and the writing, the prose writing that you do. But all of you who are sitting here today, the great thing about being a writer is you can start at any age. You might think, I'm not ready yet, I'm too young, I don't know anything. In your teens, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, I'm looking at the staff now, your 50s, your 60s, you can still start to write stuff down and you can become a writer. I know lots of successful writers who started in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s and became bestsellers. So it's the one career I can think of, or the one thing I can think of that you can take up at any age. I'm too old now to be a pop star. I'm far too old to be a pop star. But you're not, Andrew. So you can maybe start writing some lyrics for your non-existent band. But meantime, I'll congratulate you again. This is a wonderful, 2 prizes in fact, wonderful prizes you've won. I'm so thrilled for you, pal. So I'm going to hand you over your prizes, including some software that is part of the prize as well. So congratulations, Andrew. Well done.